This video is for entertainment and educational purposes only. This video is brought to you by First Detachment Nutrition, battle-tested nutrition, expert formulated supplements. Use code AB10 at checkout for 10% off. Hey guys, Big Paul here. Today we are going to talk about cheat meals. Cheat meals and when they're appropriate, when they're not, how they fit into your diet, whether you can fit them into your diet, and my philosophy on cheat meals. Before we do so, please take the time to check out my sponsors, First Detachment Nutrition, for quality sports supplements for bodybuilders and physique athletes. And also check out Evolve Telemed for hormone replacement therapy and blood panel testing. I have links and discount codes for both places in the video description below. All right, let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. So, cheat meals. Everybody loves a goddamn cheat meal, me included. One of the first things people ask me when they reach out to me about coaching is, do you allow cheat meals in your program? That's the most important thing on their mind. They're not concerned about my philosophy with PEDs or what kind of training I do. They want to know if there are cheat meals built into the program. And the answer is yes. We're not goddamn robots. So I do think cheat meals are okay if they're structured properly and managed properly and accounted for in the diet. I'll give you the example. Last year for my contest prep, I did no cheat meals. I was a Spartan on my entire diet, and I looked like shit when I got on stage. This year, I had scheduled cheat meals once a week, pretty much the entire prep, except for the last couple of weeks. I ate entirely clean the last couple of weeks. This is the best I've ever looked on stage. So you tell me, can you have a cheat meal or can you not? So there are primarily two needs for a cheat meal that people have, and they both carry some importance and some merit. And there's the psychological need and there's the physiological need. Often I'll find that people don't really have a physiological need for an actual nasty cheat meal. You can have a cleanish cheat meal or even eat just more food, more clean food, and accomplish the physiological need. But sometimes, you get into a state, especially when you're dieting for contest prep, where you're just super depleted. Your metabolism is taking a hit, and you need something to give you a kick in the ass. And eating a cheat meal, like say, two of my personal favorites are, I like to eat kebabs, Mediterranean food, and I like to go to the steakhouse and just have a big old fat juicy steak with a potato. And I know that seems boring. Some people say it's not a cheat meal, but it's freaking ribeye's got a lot of fat in it. But the thing is, you're getting some extra fat, some extra sodium. Probably more sodium than you would have in a regular meal. Even with the kebabs, I would usually get like chicken and beef kubide or lamb with the kebabs and a piece of bread. And you're getting that extra sodium, you're getting extra carbs, extra fat, and it just kind of kicks you back into gear, fills you back out when you're getting flat. And so it does serve a physiological purpose. Now there is the psychological cheat. Sometimes you just get diet fatigue, mental diet fatigue, when you've been dieting for so long, and you're just going to lose your goddamn mind if you don't have something. And this is a slippery slope, but it is sometimes necessary to have a psychological cheat. I get it. You're deprived. You feel like shit. You're craving crazy stuff, and sometimes you just got to get a craving out of your system to get back on track with your diet. These aren't necessary for a physiological purpose. They don't really move your physique forward in any way, but they help with the psychology of dieting. And sometimes that's important. If you're at the point where you're just kind of like, fuck it, I can't handle this anymore, and you go off on a binge, I would have rather you had a cheat meal than to do that. So that's kind of the idea of keeping some cheat meals planned in. Also with the carb cycling diet, we on the high carb days, half the calories that we get in can come from simple sugars. So you can have things like breakfast cereal. You can have you can have breakfast cereal. You can have sugar-free candy, or I'm sorry, but fat-free candies. Things like gummy bears, Swedish fish, shit like that. So that should tickle your sugar craving on those days. So that's another option there too. And sometimes people crave shit stuff like they want to eat dessert. Usually I see people, they want desserts. They want nasty, fatty desserts like cheesecake and shit like that. And believe me, I like that stuff, but you got to be really, really careful with that. I prefer people to stay away from that shit on contest prep. Just fill out on something that's good, and then use that to keep you full. We'll get into that here in just a second. So I want to talk about dirty and clean cheat meals next. So a dirty cheat meal, these are this is the one that people always want, and I have to fight with people about this. Can I have a bag of chips? Can I have some ice cream? Can I have donuts? In the off season, okay, I'm not as concerned about it, but on contest prep, fuck no, you can't do that shit on contest prep. So this is a dirty cheat. A dirty cheat is a cheat meal that does not support your physique goals. They're usually low in protein or almost no protein. They're high in saturated fats, and hydrogenated oils, and just, basically shit processed oils and processed fats, high in processed sugars. Usually they have a high amount of, high fructose corn syrup. Example would be ice cream, donuts, pizza, potato chips, snack foods, candy bars. This is the shit that people like to go off on. And I warn you, and I have it here in bold, these almost always, when I have people that go off, that binge eat, that fuck up and binge eat, and I've been guilty of it myself too, it is from these foods, and they seem to just trigger an onslaught of overeating and binging. And it's just like, you just can't fucking stop yourself. Ask yourself, when do you ever just eat one donut? When do you ever just eat one slice of pizza? When do you ever have just, a couple spoonsful of ice cream? When do you not just kill an entire bag of potato chips? It never happens. When do you stop at one little snack-size candy bar? You don't. You end up eating all of them. And that's what most people do. So these are trigger foods that will wreck a diet. You can wreck in a complete entire week of progress on contest prep, even weeks from just one night of binging on dirty foods. So the best thing to do is to keep yourself, if you want to keep from doing this, is just keep yourself full on clean foods. I stay away from dirty cheats when I'm on contest prep completely. I didn't have one dirty cheat on my contest prep. My cheats were always clean. Probably the dirtiest thing I would have would be a burger and a french fries, which is still meat and potatoes at the end of the day. It's just fried and, has a lot of extra fat in it. It's still relatively high protein, and we have our carbs. It's just more fat, more salt. So that is relatively cleanish, but stay away from the dirty cheats. So in summary here, what we have, we go back to recap. We have a physiological need for cheats. We have a psychological need for cheats. A lot of times you can overcome the psychological need if you just really ask yourself, do I really need this? Do I really need to eat 6 donuts? And the answer is no. And when you feel the urge to do something like that, there are things you can do to work your way around it. Just fill up on something good. I mean, when do you ever hear of anybody eating 2 steaks? You get done with eating your 12-ounce sirloin, you're like, man, I'm going to have another one. I don't know who the fuck does that. I'm full after I have a 12-ounce sirloin and a potato. I don't want to eat anymore. And that's like less than 1,500 calories. But man, you can house 1,500 calories of donuts like that. And then probably end up eating like 5,000 or 6,000 calories of them, no problem. A single donut's like 500-600 calories a piece usually. So, I mean, you eat 6 of them, you eat 3,000 calories. You would have to eat 2 steak and potato dinners to do that, and that's really difficult to do. So fill up on the satiating foods that are off, kind of off your normal menu when you're on contest prep. In the off season, if you want to have a dessert or some potato chips or some shit like that here and there, I don't necessarily have a problem with it, but you don't want to get too sloppy in the off season. It's just more work you have to do on contest prep. The fatter you, and I've been there before. I've let myself get really shitty in the off season, and then it makes for hell when you get into contest prep. This year I stayed pretty lean. I never got to a point where I couldn't see my abs in the off season, even though I was pretty fluffy. And my contest prep was a breeze this year. So just something to keep in mind. All right, guys, that's all I got on this one. Hopefully this was helpful. Take care. Thank you. For coaching or consultations, head over to www.anabolicbodybuilding.com to book your spot today. I can help you with optimizing hormones, fat loss, muscle gain, physique, athletic performance, nutrition, and health. For more information, shoot me an email at bigp3rd@gmail.com.